The First Alert Team, named best in Georgia. Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12 at 6 o'clock.
A woman facing charges on the heels of another deadly weekend on the road here in Augusta. Deputies arresting Megan Burton Sunday in connection to a deadly accident on Gordon Highway that took the life of a 39-year-old man, Barry Anthony Smith.
In the past 3 weeks, we've seen 5 pedestrian deaths. Since the start of the year, it's been 16.
And over the last 3 years, the top 3 locations for these accidents are Gordon Highway, Deansbridge Road, and the Mike Paget Highway. But that's not the only pattern. Cindy Hood joining us live off Gordon Highway. So, Cindy, what else have you learned?
Well, as that number keeps on climbing, more and more families are left in pain. This spot right here off of Gordon Highway is where Anthony Smith was walking last night whenever a car came by, hit him, and killed him, leaving his family absolutely heartbroken right now. But they want to make sure that his name always stays alive.
My doorbell rung. I thought it was my son. And I opened the door, and the lady was standing there, and she just looked at me. And I said, please, ma'am, don't tell me something's happened to my son.
Now all she has left of her son are pictures.
That's my son. That's my only son. And he's not with me no more. My son never been able to have a chance to have kids, and he never will get to.
He'll never watch his niece and nephew grow up.
That's my brother. It's the only brother I had. And the world don't know a bond between a brother and a sister like me and my brother were.
An unbreakable bond.
He always used to pick at me because he's older than me and I'm younger. But when you see my brother, he looks like he should be the older one. He's much taller. So for a long time, I would always say, all right, now, I said, don't forget, I'm big sister. He goes, yeah, but I'm bigger than you.
Anthony Smith is one of 5 pedestrian deaths in the last 3 weeks.
He was just trying to cross the street. He was 39 years old. He had been 40 coming up in January. Now I got to face the holidays coming up without my son.
Our conversations were, what are we going to do if something happened to mom and daddy? Because all we got is each other. We always talked about what we would do if it was mom and daddy, but we never talked about if it was each other.
Anthony Smith, again, he is the 5th pedestrian to die just in the last 3 weeks. He's the 16th for the entire year, and we actually haven't seen a number that high since 2020. The sheriff's office tells us that year, 15 pedestrians died.
And it seems to be happening way too often in Augusta.
It really does. A serious problem on those busy highways. Sydney, thanks for bringing those us their story. Riley? Trapped in a
urban environment's much warmer, so Daniel Field likely staying in the upper 40s. If you live away from the city, though, it is going to be a cold start down near 40 degrees right around sunrise Tuesday. High pressure is over the East Coast. That's going to keep our weather pattern fairly dry over the next several days. What's going to be changing, though, is that afternoon temperatures are going to be getting warmer. Going to be chilly this evening. Tonight, though, we're looking at temps falling off into the 50s after sunrise. Cold start tomorrow morning near 40, but it is going to be a beautiful afternoon with highs back in the 70s. Take a look at those warmer afternoons heading our way in just about 10 minutes.
Trapped in a suitcase, tied and bound, 35 years later, the GBI has identified a Millen murder victim. So how is new technology helping solve these cases? Our Hallie Turner is live in the newsroom. When investigators found a body in a dumpster north of Millen in 1988, they had no idea 35 years later technology and DNA testing would lead them to identify Chong Eun Kim and reaching her family almost 100 miles away. On Valentine's Day of 1988, the Jenkins County Sheriff's Office called in the GBI when they discovered a body. The body was wrapped in plastic and duct tape inside a large suitcase tossed in the dumpster north of Millen. They say the victim had suffocated and had been dead almost 7 days by then. But Jenkins County tells me from what they knew, the body does not have any ties to Millen. But through fingerprints, dental records, and more, investigators compared the remains to missing person cases from around the country. Recently, a GBI forensic artist crafted a sketch of what the victim could have looked like, along with advancements in DNA. technology, they were able to jump on investigative leads, bringing them to Kim Stanley this year, which is exactly what they knew what the new cold case unit the GBI launched this year is doing. Now, under the law known as the Coleman-Baker Act, families can request the GBI to take a look back into their family's case if the GBI has previously worked on it. We don't know yet if the cold case unit had anything to do with this specific case, but we do know new DNA technology broke this case wide open and linked them to the victim. Just incredible. So many families out there who may be losing hope, getting closure ever happening, and DNA technology is still coming leaps and bounds. Thanks for sharing that with us, Hallie. Investigators in Aiken have made a third arrest for a deadly 2020 shooting that happened at Palmetto Crossing Apartments. The shooting taking the life of Tyquan Graham. Aiken County Sheriff's Office says 25-year-old Demetrius Doe Jr. was arrested today. He's charged with murder and criminal conspiracy. They say he joins Raheem DeVoe and Richard Garvin Jr. in that case. An arrest warrant for Garvin refers to the killing as a retaliatory shooting incident. SLED, the ATF, and Lexington County Sheriff's Office all helped with today's arrest. He spent more than 14 years in prison for a murder he says he did not commit.
And now lawyers with the Georgia Innocence Project are joining his fight for freedom. Eric Hurd was arrested back in 2009 after two men broke into a home and demanded money from two sisters. One was shot and killed. Hurd was convicted of the crime in 2012, sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences. The Georgia Supreme Court upheld that conviction. But today a team of lawyers argued the jury got it wrong, and so did the state's highest court.
It's important to know this hearing isn't about Eric Hurd's guilt or his innocence. That's not what the judge is deciding. This is a habeas corpus hearing, meaning the judge in this case has to decide if, 1, Eric Hurd's constitutional rights were violated during his trial, and 2, if they were, did it affect the outcome of his case? Also different, while lawyers are arguing details of a criminal case, in Georgia, habeas corpus cases are actually civil cases, and those hearings happen where the inmate is housed, not where the crime happened. Eric Hurd is housed in Washington County, so that's why this hearing is in our area. And while Hurd was in court today, he did not testify.
Now, this morning, when things did get underway, the Georgia Innocence Project said they had 16 witnesses. By 4 this afternoon, they'd gotten through about 3 of them. The 4th witness, Marla Lawson, a retired GBI forensic artist. She did the sketch. She testified today when she was finished. The surviving sister was not confident the sketch looked like Hurd. She suggested not using it, but investigators did anyway. It's how Hurd was identified as a suspect. Testimony is still going on.
Our Meredith Anderson is inside the court and will be there again tomorrow. It's been 16 days since that deadly Maxwell Street shooting that took the life of 33-year-old Precious Statanak. Richmond County investigators arrested 2 women, Trinaka and Mary Moore. They're both charged with murder. Tonight, her family is faced with a difficult problem while trying to lay her to rest: finances. As our Taylor Martin explains, there's a program that can help.
She was always there for me, and I'm gonna miss that.
She's talking about her niece, Precious Statanak, who she raised as her daughter.
They didn't have to take her life like that.
She says her own health difficulties, along with the loss of Precious and the financial burden of laying her to rest, is becoming a lot to bear.
It's very hard on me right now.
But thanks to the victims' assistance programs both in Richmond County and on the state level, there's help to give victims the funeral they deserve. In Richmond County, families of victims can file an application for funeral and other expenses within 180 days of the crime through the DA's office.
I land her to rest peaceful. That's what I want.
Through the Georgia Crime Victims Compensation Program, families can get up to $25,000 if they file an application within 3 years of the crime, helping family members get closure.
I just want Precious to know that I'm there for her, even though I can't do nothing for her. But her kids could. They can ask the Lord to forgive these people.
And allowing victims to be at peace. Reporting in Augusta, Taylor Martin, on your side.
And there is a list of requirements you have to meet to qualify for either program. We'll have that list and more information on our website.
Deputies in Burke County want to know if you've seen this man. 36-year-old Brandon Mills reported missing 5 days ago, last seen at his home on 4 Points Road. Mills could be wearing a blue shirt with blue jeans, driving a silver truck, an F-150. If you've seen him, call deputies in Burke County.
Augusta University has unveiled their new esports arena, and it was a packed packed room for that highly anticipated event. Augusta University has had a team in the Peach Belt for years now, and after 5 years of playing, they're finally joining just 7 other schools in the state of Georgia who have a home turf. This gaming area will have 16 computers for the home team. Students say this arena will also help students get involved in more activities on campus.
Students to like start socializing more, because you gotta think, like, a lot of us are kind of antisocial. We don't play sports. We don't pick anything that looks like a ball. Like, we don't do that. So it gives everyone a chance to socialize and make really good connections with people.
And we'll have more on the arena's grand opening tonight on News 12 at 11.
That's going to be big for AU and Augusta. Still to come is one of the largest single-day regattas in the country, and it's coming back to Augusta soon. But its future could be in doubt. We'll explain why.
We are expecting another cold night, but warm temperatures above average for the rest of the week. We'll have that full forecast next. Time warm if you're heading out there. If you're going to be tailgating right as the sun comes up, morning temps there in Jackson, the upper 60s. By kickoff at 3:30, we should see those highs there in the low 80s. So perfect conditions for a big rivalry game later this weekend. Here's a look at our 7-day forecast. We are going to see a cold start the next couple of mornings, but more mild temperatures as we finish off the week.
Riley, thanks. Speaking of sports, in about a month, hundreds of boats will be right here on the Savannah River for the Head of the South Regatta. The event is expected to bring in more than $1 million in tourism money. The Augusta Rowing Club hosting our event again, but they're still looking for a new home. Craig Allison joins us live from the boathouse.
This will be the Augusta Rowing Club's 25th year, hosting the third largest single-day regatta in the country. On Veterans Day, colleges and groups from as far as Virginia will row down here on the Savannah River, but this could be the last year for this Augusta symbol on the riverfront.
We have 16 miles of pristine water here that is the envy of any paddle sport.
Lots of prep and practice with less than a month till this riverfront is filled with lots of competitors.
Colleges like Clemson, Georgia Tech, Duke, Virginia Tech, Virginia Commonwealth. This is our big money maker, so our first focus is to make sure the regatta goes off.
But this year will be noticeably different. With the mold-infested boathouse that city leadership has made a priority to have demolition estimates on, the regatta won't use the boathouse except as storage space. The conversation for a new facility for the rowing club stopped back in May with a change in leadership and new priorities for storage.
Storage, regatta storage, and a gym and safety equipment and all of that. We really need a facility that's about 10,000 square feet.
Still being a few $100,000.
With no funding source locked down for a new boating house or storage unit, it's still unclear what the future holds for this annual event.
We're happy to be back, and we're hoping and praying for good weather.
Now, that discussion is expected to pick back up at next week's Halloween committee meetings. And the thing with this year is the regatta being on Veterans Day, their typical veteran volunteers aren't expected to come out as much, so they're asking for any volunteers to show up, show out, and help out this year. Yeah. In Augusta, Craig Allison, on your side.
So much potential with that riverfront property. It's a shame the boathouse has fallen into a disrepair like it has. But Craig, thanks. We're going to have the information for you on the website you just mentioned, wrdw.com.
After the break, we'll show you how a new coffee shop is bringing everyone together.
First Alert Radar, powered by Jim Hudson Automotive Group.
We are excited to announce that the Medicare Specialist is now 64 Insurance Group. And while we've expanded our portfolio to include other health insurance products, we are still your go-to for all things Medicare. Don't wait until you're 65 to call. Are64.com.
My dry eyes made me...
Do you have a Medicare plan I can actually afford?
How about a plan with a $0 monthly premium?
Well, that's a great start. What other benefits can we get?
Things like dental, vision, and hearing. But let me help you pick the plan that's right for you.
Ooh.
Don't wait. Call 1-800-AETNA for you to get answers to your questions and pick a plan that's right for you. And let's make healthier happen together.
Hey, Jill, what's the matter?
Man, this name change is stressing me out.
Everyone will know we still specialize in Medicare.
Yeah, I know that, but what about this?
Are you 64.com?
Coffee coffee and community. A new coffee bar opens up in the heart of downtown Augusta. You can find Trellis over on Walton Way. It's really just minutes away from our medical district, Harrisburg, Somerville, right in that area. We caught up with one of the owners to see why they chose that location.
The Trellis is a concept that we came up with. A group of friends basically got together, and we were like coffee, and we were like Augusta. We're passionate about Augusta. And so asking ourselves, hey, how do all those things come together? How do we see people flourish in Augusta? We think that people can do that around coffee.
And we will drink to that. They are open now, but they're going to have a grand opening coming up on November the 4th. Registration for the annual James Brown Turkey Giveaway is coming up soon. Those dates are November the 4th through the 11th. It's going to take place at the James Brown Arena from 9 in the morning until 11. You're going to need a valid state ID, current power bill, or a lease agreement to register. Turkeys will be handed out at the arena parking lot November the 20th.
The numbers are in for the first ever Augusta Duck Dash. More than $30,000 raised to help support the Family-Wise Place to Dream program. The goal is to provide safe cribs to help reduce sudden infant death rates in our area.
Yeah, big weekend out there. The supporters adopted around 2,000 ducks that floated a little ways down the Augusta Canal for this good cause. And volunteers with the Savannah Riverkeeper and Veterans for Clean Water were right there in their kayaks to make sure no duck was left behind. But beautiful morning for that out there, Riley.
It really was. We have blue sky and temperatures are very comfortable. And we're looking like we're going to hang on to nice weather all week long. The only thing is, heading out to the bus stop tomorrow morning, it is going to be a little bit cold out there. Now look at that 7-day forecast just after the break.
You're watching News 12 on your side.
Advanced technology.
Well, we have a beautiful view down the Savannah River from our Thurman Dam cam. This high-level cloud cover will start to filter out as we move into later tonight, and it is going to be pretty chilly tonight. We are expecting low temps, most likely anywhere from the low to mid-40s across the area. That 44 Augusta is for Bushfield. If you live near closer to downtown Augusta, you most likely stay in the upper 40s. Still, everybody should need that jacket for the first part of the day. Beautiful Tuesday. We're going to hang on to plenty of sunshine most of the afternoon, so even more sun than what we saw earlier today. And most likely seeing those high temps hit at least the mid-70s tomorrow, and then we are going to continue that warming trend for the rest of the week. But these temperatures tomorrow in the mid-70s, just a couple of degrees below average, not too far away, so we'll call it seasonal. Beautiful weather to get outside and nice weather really sticking around most of the week for us. You can see our temperatures are just going to get a little bit warmer each day for the rest of the week, so we actually should see the 80s back as we head a little bit later into this forecast. So by the weekend, we should see low 80s out there and hanging on to generally dry weather over the next several days.
Thanks, Riley. Our next live update, 7 o'clock on NBC 26.
And then we'll be back with more News 12 tonight at 11. We'll see you then.